Right. Are we up and working? Yes, we are. Right. Just gonna sort this out. So we're here with the F1 IRL Bahrain practice session ahead of round 2 of the season. Just go quickly make sure everything is all good with the string. So we've had a couple of issues in the build-up, so I'm just going to quickly double check that now. Right, okay, everything should now be good. Just quickly make sure. Right. So we are on board with TGX World at the moment. That, and I'm gonna have to turn these headphones down because they're astronaut. So, we're on time to be coming into pits with a wet Bahrain. Not quite sure how that's happened, but it's a desert. Who is on some runs? We've got a long session here, and if you could join me for the whole thing, that would be very much appreciated. And get a look at the beach we haven't had the chance to yet. So we're currently on the more to sitting in P3 at the moment. There's a yellow flag somewhere out on track. So that's 4. Not quite sure. Fairly good turnout for a practice session, I think. I haven't been in this league very long, so I don't know how this all goes down, but Kaiser Bob, who was very strong in the race I commentated last Sunday, currently leading the session by 4 tenths for the sake, and head of Lee Moo, who I did not get the session from last Sunday, and we of course have Morgs, who is a tier 2 driver, currently in P3, Fatal France, who's a tier 1 driver, P7MF, he's tier 2 as well, he's currently sitting in P6 in his Ferrari. So we're going to hopefully get a couple of drivers in and talk to them if they're willing to. So Shaf Scartrix, I know he and JJ and Will actually, they're all tier 1 drivers, along with Lee Pratt and Ferrari F1 team, and then we have a couple of spaces around. Does decide to join later. So we still have 81 and a half minutes left in this session. Strap yourself in, probably going to be a bit longer. But yeah, with the Bahrain circuit and on board Kaiser Bob, the track does seem to be drying out quite a lot because it was raining at the start of the session. So I'm assuming we're going to get some dry running in anytime soon. It's loud. Sorry, first. I'm actually doing all right. Look, I've turned the game volume down a bit. Is that any better? Is this any better for game volume? Didn't know I'd actually be streaming until about 5 minutes from the start, so sorry I've been a bit all over the place with this up. So we have Kaiser Bob coming into the pits now, potentially going to be going on to some soft tyres next time soon. I'm going to be doing a couple of long runs or maybe going straight out for some fast laps. I'll have to see. We have Kimmy, who's gone up into 2, whether he's like, no, he wasn't over his Ferraris. He's done some hot runs as well. He's going to be coming into the pits. I think this track is ready for dry tyres now because there's no spray more. Who's this Looney Moo has just come out on a set of mediums. Yeah, the track should be ready. Let's just watch this exploratory lap on the medium tyres and see how it goes for Looney Moo. So that first couple of corners, that's straight. Yeah, no, not quite. Very heavily done, but it seems to be not a lot of grip. Track's still going to be a little bit cold, really scrunched on the exit. I see Morgs, he's currently on the soft tyres, so let's just go on. Yeah, we've gone ball and Morgs for it. He's on soft tyres, and Kimmy's still out on. Yeah, everyone is coming out now is on dry tyres, so the track is definitely ready for the dries. So, by the looks of it, for the next 79 minutes we have a dry session, and who is Burn out on the super soft. So this is going to be our first relatively quick lap, just be down to the tyres. So let's see how this goes for him. So as we see the Mercedes leaving the pits as well. going straight on the throttle on the exit. Yeah, there's a lot more grip than we were saying in the wet running, and this is so we have burn down the sequence at the moment. Go through the really quick S's section S's section of the track here. Really easy to catch yourself out on the curves, and maybe if you have missed the apex there, running a little bit too deep, as McLaren getting out of the way. That was either Kaiser Bob or Adversaurus. That's my favourite game tag in here. So we have he's on his hot laps on medium ERS, who's not pushing too hard. He's running wide, yeah, running a little bit too wide again there, but now here you can lose your rear end so easily, and yeah, there he goes, run out wide again off the back. Nice and clean through the penultimate corner though, gives you a nice good run down onto the straight. Now coming into the final corner, Scartrix goes into P1 on medium tyres by a considerable margin, so he's the first person to get a dry lap in. And now Keenburn crosses the line, and obviously he's validated at some point. And running wide at the final corner, I guess. So who else is looking to, we know Morgs is on lap, he's coming around on his soft tyres, so should be rounding it off right now. 40.5, yeah, that looks like starting a lap now, so let's stick on board with the other Renault, this time on the soft tyres of Morgs. So yeah, can someone just quickly, he's running really wide there, someone quickly clarify that the audio sound better, because I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. So, now through the SS section, Kevin up, but he's got right on the exit curves, and that slows you down a lot and has the potential to actually validate your lap, and yeah, he's off on the exit as well. So it still doesn't seem to be a lot of grip. All the drivers are hunting for any ounce of grip they can find. Miss the apex a little bit, but you don't lose too much time in that corner. Not choosing to use DRS because obviously he's obviously this is much of a push lap. Now out onto the curb, get a better turn and carry a bit more speed through the corner. Want to keep the rear stable throughout, so really careful and slow when you're turning your steering input, otherwise you're going to be right round. And when your gearbox overtakes you, it's not good. And now off at the final corner, so that's a lot in the F1. Over 2 weekends ago now. A lot of drivers running wide at these final couple of corners, and once you get dragged onto this exit curve, as Morgs has here, in real life that will tend to suck you right out near the, try to feed you into the barrier, so it's not good. Here, right, I'll turn it down again then. Can you all hear me clearer now? I've turned it down again. As I say, I wasn't expecting to actually be doing a session before, so I've just very quickly set it all up. So yeah, we're still on board with Morgs, 40.5 currently, so obviously he was validated on his last run. Still currently sitting with his best wet time. Kimi has gone into P1 with 29.5, which is 3/10 quicker than Kaiser Bob, who is on the medium tyres. So that's encouraging for Kaiser Bob actually, because he's a little bit quicker when you factor in the tyre difference. Of course, not everyone's on push laps, not everyone's using high ERS at all. PDH Will's just ahead of Morgs here. Potentially could get in the way. We'll have to see what's up there. Yeah, can someone say again if the audio is better, because I've turned down the game volume even more, and as I've never actually streamed before on this game, I don't know what kind of audio settings I should have it on. There we go. Now Morgs is going to get a lovely slipstream just behind PDH Will, and he does. And he ends up going into P4. It's a fairly solid lap. He's going to be taken down. Got a lovely little bit of racing here. Tier 1 driver against Tier 2 driver on the exit. Ooh, nearly contact there between the Mercedes and the Renault. But yeah, it was nice and clean. Bit of racing. Gotta love to see it. And JJ Rock's still in the pits, along with Lee Pratt, who left the session a minute ago. You have Benjamin Prime, who is on the super soft tyre, yet to set a lap, and he's potentially rounding one off right now. He comes around the final corner, got a very clean exit. Where will this put him? Puts him up into P4. So the highest super soft run at the moment, ahead of King Burn. Yeah, by 3 seconds. Obviously, King Burn's lap time was not ideal at all. Kaiser Bob is still on his medium tyres, circulating the track. And Scartrix has gone quickest again on the medium tyres. Let's see if Kaiser Bob has a response to that or not. He's in high ERS mode, so he's pushing on this lap now. He feels his mediums are up to temperature. Very clean exit, running out as wide as he can get away with DRS early. Ran out of ERS before the end of the lap, and he goes into P2. 3.5 tenths off the Scartrix, which is very encouraging for him. Right, apologies for that. I am back now. Had to go quickly do something. We're back, and Kaiser Bob, of course, she's got an on-board lap there. He crosses the line again, and obviously does not improve, because that was a cool-down lap. Tried to regen some ERS, and potentially going to go for it again. Here he is. Let's go on board with this lap with Kaiser Bob. Flying around ref, 70 minutes left of the session still. I'm going to be looking to try to get a driver return. I think when Morgs does eventually pit, I'll get him in. Because I know he's a tier 2 driver and I haven't had the chance to talk to him yet or commentate on him. He's commentated on me a fair few times, I think it's safe to say. In other leagues, of course. And so yeah, Kaiser Bob's right, he's backed out of his lap, he's saving ERS and potentially going to go for it on the next lap, but he's on old mediums now, so it's less like. Is anyone on fresh tyres relative? Yeah, King Burn. Is he on a hot lap? No, he's still kind of coasting around at the moment. Everyone's just on their long runs at the moment, so I don't think it's a good idea to start messaging all of them for interviews at the moment. So I think when a couple of them go into the pits, you have to give them time in the pits. Yeah, Looney Moo, he's still circulating the track. Scartrix has been out there the longest on this current stint. He's got up to 6 laps. Yeah, he's circulating some very good lap time actually. Just head to Kaiser Bob. Let's just go off board for a minute. What? Scartrix driving around. And then yeah, I'll get a couple of drivers in and start talking to them about what they want to do in their race, which would be very interesting because this is the first idea. People are getting somewhat of a people's pace, and JJ Rock's joined back, so he's someone we could interview at some point, because I know he did the tier 1 race. Kimmy's gone up into P2. There's a good lap on soft tyres, old soft tyres. He's got 5 laps on this stint, which is Okay, you could be doing a lot more than that in the race though, so. Oh, Ferrari F1 team, he's out at the moment. He's on new medium tyres. Is he going to be doing any push laps anytime soon? That's what's going to be interesting to see as we progress through a session when people start to do their super soft runs at much lower fuel and at a much higher speed. It's going to be rather interesting to say the least. It'll give an idea of some people's pace, but I know people such as Morgs has said that he tends to sandbag in these sessions, and I'm assuming the majority of drivers do. Just to protect or hide that little bit of time that they have up their sleeve. You can brake a little bit too early at one corner. And just some sneaky little ways where you get an idea of how your car handles. But we have a yellow flag out on track somewhere. Has anyone had... Oh, we have a Williams in the wall. And that's Lost Nuts Racing 2. I don't want to guess what happened to Lost Nuts Racing 1, but it'll be very unfortunate for him. I don't believe damage is on, so he can literally just turn around and drive off. A Ferrari and Red Bull's racing in the background. This will be interesting to see who's a Red Bull to go forward. They're getting a little bit close. Oh, and I think the Williams has gone off again. Yeah, he's off again. So Lost Nut Racing not having a very good time in this session. Oh, and he's got right in the way of that Sauber. That's not quite sure what to say about that. He's pulled out right in front of which Sauber is that. That's Looney Moo out on track. So TJH Will's still circulating. So we have Fatal Defiance for 7 laps, along with Looney Moo and Badgersaurus. They've been running around, and Scartrix is still out there. We have another yellow. I'm just going to shoot. Essentially lost nuts again. Yeah, he's stopped out on track. And yeah, he's just letting a couple of cars pass. He's back on his way, assuming he's just going to go back to the pits. So if anyone has anything to say in chat, feel free to just voice your opinion, or if there's anything that you see I've missed. Of course, I'm doing it by myself here. There's not too much. Always, that's what I was mentioning before. You get onto that curb too much, and it catches you. And then once the car actually gets grounded again, you can just end up straight in the wall. So there's a lot of skill involved in this track. On the face of it, it doesn't look like one where a lot of skill is needed, but a lot of these corners do surprise you. And a lot of corners are exactly the same. So if you're bad at one type of corner, e.g. a 90 right, you're probably not going to be brilliant at this track. But, oh, and we have Lost Nuts Racing in his left session. And Scartrix goes around to complete his 9th lap of the session now. He's circulating at the moment. Who else? So I've got some Morgs is still out on track. Okay, so I'm grabbing some standing seams, so that's very useful that I can go over. Yeah, Kimmy is in the pits. Scartrix is still going around. Going to be completing his 10th lap now. Still looks like he's got a fair amount of grip on those tyres, actually. So, and Bahrain's not a track where the tyre deg is ridiculously high. It's not very good, but oh, JJ Rock's got a 5-place group penalty. I'm sure he's going to be absolutely devastated with that for the non-existent race. Oh, and he's gone off as well. So yeah, it was contact with Kaiser Bob, it said. So I'm assuming that was just leaving the pits. JJ's had contact with Bob, who is on his medium stint still, and he's getting quite a bit of the curves. He has to back out a bit there on the exits where he's running right out wide. So we still have these cars out on track. Still a couple of cars, or still a couple of spaces in this session if anyone, obviously in the league, wants to take them. And we have Benjamin's Prime. Oh, he's just gone straight on into the wall at turn 1. Okay, that's so weird. I think we're just going to move on. Yeah, Kaiser Bob is on his run. And yeah, Benjamin Prime. Seat on board with Monsignor disqualified from the session, parked in a dangerous location. So there we go. That is, no matter what, Benjamin's Prime's session over. Yeah, now officially disqualified. So even if he wants to come back, he cannot. So Morgs now goes around, starting his 11th lap now, which is pretty good. Getting a better idea now of how these soft tyres are working. Of course, the more laps you do, the more reflective it is of a longer run in the actual race, because there's no point just doing a couple of laps. So I have another yellow on track, but actually there's a Red Bull and a Mercedes fighting here, so let's see. I use the term fighting quite loosely. Ah yeah, the wheel's just gone off the track. Oh no, it's still there. We just went a little bit too deep into turn 1. Now on the exit, Fedge Defiance has a really good run and should get them moved. Oh, there's a Ferrari in the background, here we go. Yeah, no, Defiance just backed off. Yeah, Benjamin's Prime's left the session. Interested to know what went on with him there, because that was a weird little thing, whether that was something disconnecting or what. So yeah, Will and Defiance are still going around him. We have a Ferrari closing in on the back of him. So this is going to be moderately interesting. Obviously they're not going to be fighting positions, so we're not going to expect anything too major to be happening yet. Will pulls across right there. He's probably just going to let them pass. There you go. Alpha closing in our back as well. But no, come on. Keep racing, guys. Yeah, here we go. Defiance goes around the outside. And we have that Ferrari F1 team just behind you. Yep. And we have another yellow out on track. So I'm assuming that's just someone having a spin out there, or letting other cars pass and having to slow down. In the meantime, I am just going to quickly get the quick screen for some people who want to know. So, we have what appears to be JJ Rockin first, which I've somehow missed. So, he's just gone in first by 0.2 of a second on the soft tyres. Moggs is still circulating, the person I think I'm going to do the first interview with for now. Yeah, here we go, let me just quickly get the link. Yep, so we have JJ Rock just finished his first push lap. I use again the term push loosely because everyone is going to be. Ooh. And internet seems to have not liked that one bit. I'm assuming this is more on my end or actual lobby. This time we're going to have to see the stream still. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is my end or not. Because the stream is still running very smoothly, so I'm just going to quickly check what's got. It might be my end. I'm not sure. This, you know what this game is like sometimes. I'm just going to quickly check. I don't think anything has happened with the lobby. I'm going to try to join back as quickly as I can. If it is, in fact, me, I'm trying to actually find someone who's in the session. Yeah, okay. So, I've had confirmation that the lobby's crashed, so let's go quickly. So, until I wait for confirmation, I'm just gonna be here. So there's not much to talk about. So we have JJ Rock, who was leading the session on the soft tyres at this point. And of course, everyone's stints have now been, fair to say, ruined. So it's really, really not what any of the drivers wanted, especially with this being the official practice session where they can get. There's a few of us get back in now. Okay. So a few people have disconnected, but the rest of them are still fine. So yeah, we'll have to see who was in and who was out and what happened there. Cause you all know what this game's like. Not really known for consistency. So let's go wait to get back into the lobby. I will continue running as normal. make sure everything runs nice and smoothly. Just make sure everything's good. So I'm just going to wait for the invite to get back into lobby from Moyle. We should be good to go. Let me just scroll down here. Yeah, there you go, JJ Rocks. So if I just... okay, no, private session. I can't. Okay, I'm just going to need to wait for an invite. Of course, this is a prime example of exactly what you don't want to happen in a league race. So that's some food for what could potentially go wrong. We have lost, as was confirmed to me in a message, a couple of drivers from this from the session who were midway through their stint. So that's obviously incredibly frustrating for them. I'm just gonna need to leave the session and just see if I can get back in. So let's see if I can join the game. No, I need to wait for an invite. Right, so I'm going to be rejoining very, very shortly because I'm literally about to get the invite, so... And for some reason, my Amazon voice thing, because I don't want to say its name, has just gone off, so... That's a bit of fun. Yeah, I'm just going to be waiting for an invite, and here we go, and we can resume with the normal programming. Hopefully. Provided no more issues. And we still, we're just under an hour now left in this session, so there's a lot more long runs that are going to be going on. And obviously, people will be trying to get back into their stints now they've been able to rejoin. And yeah, that was weird. I've never known the game to kick half the lobby, or only a couple of drivers. I've never known that to happen before. But we're back in, and we have, as I said before, just under an hour left. The Scarfix is gone now. So, yeah, we've got no new drivers or anything. So I think everyone seems to be back now. So now, Morgs is in the pits, so if I can access him, Morgs is left, I'll have to... Yeah, he's still here, so... Oh, that is the wrong button. Obviously, he is he's a commentator as well, so I'll message a couple of drivers, see if any of them fancy quick chat. Obviously, people are initially in hits. I don't know who's actually in the lobby or not, because I don't know who was disconnected. Try JJ Rock as well. We'll see. We'll try with a couple of different drivers, and then I'll see what they have to say some more, because it's got back to me. Okay, so let's quickly get Morgs invited to the party. And obviously, I'm assuming he knows to remember to include his audio, and yeah. Are you in? Obviously, you know the drill to remember to include your audio.
Yep, already included, mate.
Yep. Okay, there we go. Cool. So, obviously at the moment you've gone out and done your soft run. How do you think it's going so far? And I've managed to break my game. There we go. So yeah, how do you think the session is going so far for you?
It's going alright. I'm not pushing yet. That was a long run.
Yeah.
I'm not changing that. I did 16 laps on that set of tyres, I think. So maybe 14. I'll check in a sec. But yeah, I'm not pushing at the moment. I've got more fuel than anybody else, probably, at least in the top three Scar trips doesn't count. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm happy with that so far. But I'm about to go out on a couple quicker runs. I'll probably do a bit of excess fuel, but yeah, I will be going on some quicker runs soon, so we'll see my true pace then.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting. What do you think about rain at the start? That was something I was not expecting going into this. To load up and have a wet track.
That was Will be annoying me because every session he always puts wet start just in case it rains, and I asked him, will you put any rain on, or will you put it on dry because it's Bahrain? And he basically just put it on wet to annoy me because I said that. So yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So obviously you're tier 2 for this season at the moment. Where do you think, like, what's a realistic objective? Because obviously you were quite quick in the last race, it's fair to say. What's a realistic goal for, obviously, this Sunday?
I mean, we'll see again, but considering the fact that I was keeping good pace with Kimmy for most of that race last time out, and also the fact, so we'll see about all that. And my aim would be a podium, but long term, I want to try and compete for that title. But with Kimmy around, it's going to be very, very difficult. He is very, very quick, and it was a real ask just to keep up with him last round. And if overtaking him will be very different, I'm going to have to do something very special to get ahead of him. And I've seen his time trial times as well. Apparently he's done a 25.9. I did 26.1 time trial so far.
Well,
but we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, obviously he's a very quick driver. He's currently heading you by 2 tenths, but obviously you've said, I don't expect that either of you are running low fuel at the moment. You've both gone out for longer runs, so yeah, if you want to go back to your normal running, that would be good. Yeah, thank you for taking the time out to do this quick interview.
No problem.
Session.
Go on, I've only included my audio.
Okay, that's fine. Cool. Okay, thank you. Right, so we're back. So, obviously, Morg's saying here, and he made a very valid point. A lot of people at the moment, I would assume, were not doing very fast runs, and that is a very safe bet, because obviously everyone's going to be doing race runs. That's the whole point of a 1.5 hour session. But now we're getting closer and closer to the end. We're going to have a lot more people strapping on some super softs, like someone like Ferrari F1 team's doing right now. I need to turn all this back on because had to rejoin. Yeah, so you have people. Yeah, he's got into pits now. So he's starting the super soft run, 130.3, and P7 at the moment. Obviously, I don't think that's much that really. It's very hard to tell what people are doing and what all the fuel loads are. Yeah, I'm sorry to go back to the chat. Could someone just, or if anyone is listening that I happen to know, could you message me saying if you could hear Morgs during that? Because I've checked all the settings and it should have been working fine. But I do just quickly want to double check. So if anyone could tell me, that'd be massively appreciated. But we're going to go back to the on-track action now. And JJ Rock has strapped on another set of the soft tyres. And is going out for another run. Go to yeah. Oh, he's on a medium, sorry. Yeah, he's strapped on a new set of mediums and potentially be trying to improve on that 28.7. I see Bob's just gone into the pit, so if we could very quickly exploit that'd be very good to see. I have just been sent the championship as well, so I can seem very knowledgeable by including that in my interview. Right, let's invite him to the party. And second. Right, so we're going to invite Kaiser Bob, see if we can talk to him for a minute. Currently P5 in the table. If he chooses to join or not, we'll have to see. We have JJ Rock, who's out on track. I recommend JJ comes back into the pits. We'll give him an interview along with anyone else who actually seems to be at the top. Just have to check. No, that doesn't work. I can't answer chat. Okay, so yeah, so obviously thanks Bob. This will be one of the strangest interviews ever, but we're going to give it a go. So yeah, obviously you finished P5 in Australia last time out when I was commentating the race. How do you think that went? And yes, I am sorry, we're going to have to do this in the chat. So if you want to keep very short answers, I have absolutely no issue with that at all. So I'm just going to continue talking until you comment something. Who is out on track at the moment? We have Morgs has gone out for his quicker run, as he said he would, so good to know. It's the last race kind of messy. Yeah, we very much noticed that, me and Callum, while we were commentating. It was a very entertaining race, and it was very much could have been a better result by no mistakes. Yeah, I think everybody in that race, I don't think there was one person apart from maybe JJ who was able to coast off mostly at the end, actually had a very consistent or solid race without any major mistakes. So obviously, is it safe to assume that, I'm talking to Bob again, is it safe to assume that you were sandbagging quite a bit on that soft run that you've just done now? Yeah, I'll just wait for the result. Okay, maybe. It's safe. Right, so Morgs has just gone P2 actually, so I'll just go quickly cover that. You had the onboard of that lap, but yeah, he's just gone up into P2 to try new setups for now. Actually going all out, no bodies. Yep. Yeah, that's a very good point. No, I highly doubt anybody is going flat out at the moment, and if they are, it'll be interesting to see. I reckon near the end of the session there's going to be a couple of drivers who do try to go for it, and of course it's going to be really hard to tell because you can never be sure of everybody's pace at every circuit who is actually going flat out, because someone could have half a second on their last race, or someone could be a second down on their last race. So it's yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see. Let's see if there's any more drivers. Yeah, I'd like to thank Kaiser Bob for that obviously very short interview that we had to do in the chat. I tried to read out what he said. So yeah, good luck for the rest of this session, and hope you can do hope you do well, and I'll be sure to when you do get racing. So who we'll take a look at next, since we're in the kind of crossover period now. Should we try to get JJ Rock, try to talk to him a bit? View game card. Right, let's see if we can interview JJ. Right. Hello, have you got everything working? And of course remember to include your audio.
Yep.
If you haven't already. I need to turn my microphone up as well.
Cool.
Right. Yeah, hello, and how's your session going so far?
I mean, I've disconnected once, which isn't a good sign. I haven't really had the best lap together. I've got a glitch where I can only put 2.8 laps of fuel in, so I haven't really had the best of practice session so far. But
that's a little bit strange.
Yeah, so I've only been able to do one lap on each set of tyres. I'll probably try and leave and join back again in a minute.
Yeah.
See if it helps. But I mean, I've done quite a few league races around Bahrain before, and it's one of my favourite tracks at Ribby. And I've done lots of different league races, so Bahrain's a good track for me, and I'm excited for Sunday.
Yeah. So obviously, yeah, you're leading the championship at the moment. So there's not, you couldn't be coming into this race on Sunday in a better position at all. So obviously, is the goal going to be to try to get another podium, try to keep yourself up there?
Yes, I mean, Scartrix looks extremely fast around this track. I will be pushing for the win, but I'd be very happy with the podium, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, I don't want to keep you too long, so best of luck to you this weekend, and hope you are able to have a really good race, and best of luck for the rest of the session. Obviously, that's a weird glitch, so good luck getting around that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just could you send me an invite back to the session once I leave, is that alright?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Okay, see you later.
See you. Okay, yeah. Thank you. So, yeah, obviously, thank you to JJ Rock for doing that. That was very... So, obviously, he has high hopes, and he should, because he is the... due to a couple of mistakes from Axkov in the race, and a couple of drivers got held up in traffic, got held up in battles, had a bit of contact, got some damage. He is in all of the combination of everyone else's errors, and him just keeping on track, putting in really consistent lap times, meant that he was able to win the race. So obviously he couldn't have started the season off any better, and obviously it's a Sauber 1-2 in the Tier 1 Championship, so it's going to be very, very interesting to see, actually, because there's so much that could go on. I've got to say, truthfully, I'm really excited for the next race, because I don't believe we got a perfectly accurate representation of what everybody could do in the Tier 1 race last weekend. The Tier 2 race, I'm not actually sure on. Yeah, I've been sent Tier 1. I've got Tier 2 here, actually, so we can take a quick look. So obviously, Kimi and Morgs are both up there, because I know for a fact they're incredibly quick drivers, and yeah, Morgs went P2, I covered that earlier. I'm just going to check, make sure no one else has gone too much quicker. So let's go to best. There we go. So we have just over 40 minutes left in this session. King Burn, yeah, he's down there in this Renault, yep. So, yeah, Morgs, Kev. So, Kev is not in this session, so I cannot interview him. Slingervel, yeah, not in this session either. Looney Moo is, we'll maybe talk to Looney Moo later. Because we've got quite a while left yet. Yeah, Badgersaurus is here. Nathan, yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to go back to the Tier 1 discussion, because that was very interesting, and that's saying the least. Because it was a race where there was a lot of contact, a lot of mistakes. Axkov was pressuring JJ for the lead, and then of course made his mistake, I believe it's 10-11. The exit of the S's, Australia, and went straight into the wall, started to pit for a new wing, lost a fair amount of time, and still right at the end of the race he was catching up with JJ, and he was there. So Axkov's got to be one of the favourites for the next race, but then of course Scartrix was incredibly quick as well, and Sea Stealth as well, starting on the alternate strategy in Melbourne, was really able to make that work, and I see no reason why the exact same thing couldn't happen this Sunday. So but I'd say the best option to qualify on for Bahrain is the soft tyres. That's me personally, because it just means you have the option to be a lot more aggressive in the race, and I just think it's a little bit better. But of course you're going to get, as you tend to, the slower drivers tend to go onto the super soft, so that's no jab at them. It's just to get a really good qualifying opportunity, and of course if you can try to lead from the front and not be held up in the mid-pack, you're not going to be involved in any crashes, and it's a very, very safe way to go about it while holding a good position. Of course, that's not good for the really quick drivers, like just the top drivers in the tier, because they're going to have to work around the issue of the slower cars being on those tyres that are going to be much earlier than if it's... I'm going to restart a sentence. So if you're starting on the harder tyre, obviously you're potentially get a quicker car, and B, their tyres are going to drop off. They're going to hit that cliff a lot earlier than yours are. So you have to be really, really careful when going about your business there, because there is potential to be involved in a crash. And of course, if you've got cars behind you and you're one of those drivers who opted for softer tyres, you're going to be under a lot of pressure, and you're going to have to be working your tyres harder than normal, because you're not just going to let them go straight past. So you're going to try to fight, and it does increase your chance of making a mistake, and that's the reality of it. So everyone has to be so careful. We have a Ferrari coming in now. Yeah, Morgs is still on the track. I forgot about actual on-track action for a bit there. So engrossed was I by the Tier 1 Championship. I forgot we have a session to commentate. Yeah, we just have... I'm trying to see who else is in here that we can have a little chat to. Maybe talk to Scar a bit later. Yeah, Scar's in the pit, so maybe we could have a little chat with him. Yeah, let's give it a go. So right, we have Scar Tricks. We're going to see if he fancies an interview or not. Yeah, we're going to see if he fancies a short interview, because I didn't get to talk to him after the race on Sunday, as he wasn't on the podium. He finished in P6. So let's just see if he does join, or fancies talking to us, or if he just politely airs us, which is right. So we have Kimi on the Supers. He set his best laps. So that little battle between Morgs and Kimi that Morgs was alluding to, that's, I'm assuming, going to be a season-long. That's going to be a season-long fight. Kimi is he's an exceptional driver, and Morgs is a very quick driver as well. They're both up there with the top, obviously, top percentage of the game. So it's going to be a really interesting battle. I'm going to have to quickly check who came third. I know Morgs said it. I'm going to quickly double check. So yeah, you have Kev, Benjamin Prime, and Looney Moo. He said Looney Moo was a bit of a threat, so obviously up there at the moment in P9 on a 30.2, which isn't too far off on the soft tyres. It's, obviously, I don't believe that was a quick lap at all from, well, anyone really. I still am at the point where I don't think anyone has done any aggressive laps yet, or any low fuel laps, apart from JJ, who can't. So I'm assuming by the fact JJ's still in the pits, it's not worked. So he knows he can only do one lappers. What's going on? So we still have 35 minutes left of this session. Just have to start watching some cars out on track. We have Morgs out there. He's currently circulating. He's done quite a few laps on his tyre, I think. Let's see what he's got. Yeah, no, he's just come out on his outlap on the soft tyres. So yeah, it's on his lap now. Keeping it fairly neat. Obviously he's not going to be pushing. This is, I'm assuming, going to be another fairly long run, because it's not usual to see a quick run this early in the session. There's still half hour to go. And my ears are starting to hurt from this headphones. That's very funny. See, it's an endurance battle for me as well. Everyone feels sorry. I need this. Yeah, let's see the car circulating still. And Morgs starts a new lap. He's gone into rotate mode, hot lap. So I think he actually may be going for more of a push lap here. Obviously, I'm assuming it's still going to be quite a high fuel run, but it's going to give us definitely a more accurate representation of what lap time he can do than before. Depending on how this lap. Oh, sorry, I just hit the microphone. Depending on how well this lap goes. Yeah, he's kept it very clean so far. Now through the S section, careful not to get too much on the curves. Exit curve can send you right around, and then yep, that he's done it again on the exit. Don't really want to be going out there. Oh, and yeah, right on the exit. To run a little bit too deep, a little bit too early on the throttle, then you just go off. Now careful not to lock up, a little bit of a lock up, but yeah, was able to nicely pitch the apex. A little bit wide on the exit, but overall not too shabby. So now, coming around to the next corner. Sweeping it as high speed, chuck your car in, keep your foot as planted as you possibly can without putting it in a wall. Then here, careful of the rear stepping out, you go straight into that wall. If you're just a little bit too aggressive on the steering input or a little bit too aggressive on the throttle. And now coming into the final corner, out wide, take a sweeping approach to the corner. Locks up a little bit, but it's fine, still clips the apex. Maybe could have carried a little bit more speed and comes into the pits. So that was a quick lap time, I think. He was pushing a little bit harder then, but did not really want us to see that. We have Kaiser Bob out on a lap as well. He's coming on a 28.3 in P3. He's missed the apex there on the downhill left-hander. DRS wide open. He's now soaring up through the gears. He's going to chuck his car into this corner as well. Yep, braking as late as possible, keeping that mid-corner speed and flooring it on the exit. Now, is he going to be able to take this corner flat? Yes, he is. Really cautious on steering, not to lose a rear end. Braking down there in fourth. Again, as early on throttle as you can on the exit. Ran a little bit too wide, so maybe a little bit too early on the throttle. It has just chucked him off track a bit. He's maybe lost a little bit of time there. But, anyway, and now, yeah. Fourth gear, up into fifth, sixth, and then you want to be activating DRS as quickly as you can, then up into seventh, and across the line you go. And in this case, it's doing 18.2 and P3 for Kaiser Bob. Kimi 7MF16 is doing his lap at the moment. He crosses the line. No, he's not. Okay, he's just started the lap. We're going to stick with this. Braking down into the first corner, down in second gear. Careful on the throttle. You really want to ease the throttle in so you don't get too much wheel spin and compromise your exit onto this straight. So now, going up through the gears. Heavily. Could have taken a little bit more of that curve. It's just run out a little bit wide mid-corner. Got a little bit of understeer and the car just slid a little bit. And it's really compromised that corner. Now through the S's and onto the exit curve. No, he was able to avoid it. So that was very neat. We've seen a lot of drivers going off there. Again, able to keep it on track on the exit. A little bit of a wobble. But now how to be fair. Here's a good lock up. No, it was incredibly smooth under braking. That was very impressive. Maybe missed the apex a little bit, but there was no dramatic moment then. Early on the DRS, going up into 8th gear. Braking as late as possibly can. Could have, again, taken a bit more of the curve, so I don't think this is really a push lap for Kimi, since I know he is definitely capable of taking these more aggressive lines. Now brake it early on the throttle. You want to ease it in again, but not run out too wide. That's near enough as far as you want to go. Could have been a little bit cleaner, but there's if you're going any further out, it's not really going to end well. So now carry as much mid-corner speed as possible early as you can on the throttle. Got a little bit caught out on the curb and maybe lost half a tenth there, upwards of a tenth, and does improve to 28.310, but stays in P5. And now Lee Pratt is back in the session. He was gone for a while, and he's coming on 29.1. But let's see what we did. Badgesaurus is actually about to go on a quick lap, so I think we're gonna have to stick on board with Lee Pratt. And if anything major happens or any big mistakes, we're gonna move back to Badgesaurus, who is on his super soft run, and so is Morgs actually. So Morgs has just left the pits on his super soft tyres. Right. Yeah, not too. No, it could have been a little bit more aggressive into the first couple of corners, but overall very neat, very smooth. And I said this, he was Mr. Consistent in the Australian race because he was the only driver in his tier not to get a single warning, which I thought was quite impressive. Obviously, take away a driver who DNF'd very early on. But yeah, it's very neat. It's incredibly neat in this driving. It's not too on the edge, not risking everything, and that'd be obviously not a clever thing to do at this stage. You do not want to be risking everything. Hard on the brakes, and nice, really smooth again. It's very reminiscent of a Jetson Button driving style. So smooth on the tyres, so smooth on steering and putting the throttle. It's just all really nice and calm, and it seems to be working at the moment. Obviously, since he finished in P3, and he said in the race he thought he could have done better. Obviously, he had contact at turn 1 and turn 2, which put him in a wall. He was fortunate enough to get away with no damage, and was able to carry on at a relatively fast pace. Got past a couple of cars in the pit stop periods and made a couple of overtakes, and was actually overall had an incredible race, given the circumstances. It was a real comeback drive. And we're going to go on board Badgesaurus, who's actually, he's gone off the pace now. So we have Morgs on his hot lap, on his super soft tyres. He's obviously not going to be pushing completely, or maybe not at all at this point. We're going to have to see when he crosses the line if his time changes at all. So yeah, lead practice at 28.8. I don't know if that was improvement. I'm not sorry, I did not check. But let's see if Morgs can improve from a 27.9. Let's see if he is able to improve. Yeah, 27.9. So yeah, maybe he's just starting the lap now. I'll have to see. I don't believe he's pushing too hard, so let's see. Somebody potentially is Babsaurus. He might be coming onto a hot lap now, unless he's going to put it into pits. Does he? No. Okay, he might be doing a long run on the super soft tyres as well, because he's still half an hour left. Very, very early for more aggressive runs. You tend to see that later on. So yeah, Lee Pratt's still circulating on track. Oh, and we have I think that was Looney Moves going up a place. No, that was Badgesaurus. No, wasn't. Who just improved? I think it was Looney Move. Who just improved? Yeah, it makes sense because he's just come across the line. So he's just improved up into P8 on to a 28.872. It's actually quite a reasonable lap time. Of course, I'm not quite sure about all these Tier 2 drivers' pace because I haven't had the opportunity to watch them yet, which is a bit of a shame, but we'll see. So let's go on board TGH Will. He's done 5 laps at the moment on the soft tyres. So obviously this isn't going to be his last lap. I'm just going to quickly check with some of the other drivers. Babsaurus is again more aggressive. No, Morgs. No, Morgs isn't either. Just going to take a little look at Will. And see how it goes now. I want to try to get everybody on stream a little bit while they're doing their laps. It's an opportunity for them to watch themselves, really. Sorry for getting my phone vibrating. I'm going to quickly mute that right now. Mute the chats. There we go. Right. So yeah, I'm doing on board for a little bit. We'll go back to Morgs, who's now pushing, I believe, because he is in the hot lap ERS mode, which is a name which suggests you use when you're on a bit of a quicker lap. Braking heavily now, and hits the apex. Nice to smooth on the exit. He didn't run wide, which we've seen him do a couple of times. And now is he going to lock up? Oh, he's taking a really... that was a very awkward approach to the corner, but obviously it's worked, so you cannot have a go at him for that. So he has a 27.921 to beat. Now yeah, look really aggressive on the throttle, pushing it right to the limit, chucking it in. Now really smooth as you can be, braking heavily down into 4th gear. Early on the throttle without running too wide. He's maybe got away with that. Sometimes he's on a low fuel run, as you can see, so he might end up pitting at the end of this lap. We're going to have to see. I would expect him to, based on the form from the last lap. Yet it looks like he's shaping up. No, he's going to carry on, and this is going to take him. No, it doesn't. It still does a 27.9. So I'm assuming it was an invalidated lap. So let's just quickly have a check of that lap time. 27.7. So that was. Yeah, so that was an improvement by about 0.2, but would have kept him in P3 behind JJ Rock, who is also on the super soft tyre, and Scartrix, who's just been up there this whole time on his medium tyres, and I haven't seen a better representation of people really sandbagging, unless Scartrix is genuinely that fast. He's 2 compounds softer. Has a 1.5 lead on JJ Rock, who, as I said before, is a much softer compound, And their tyres at Scartrix has done 11 laps, so obviously he didn't set that lap time on his 11th lap. And Morgs is just doing a bit of drifting at the moment for us, so that's very nice of him. Yeah, a lot of people, if we look at their fitted, they're starting to... More people are looking at the... Here we go. So we have a couple of super soft runners here in Ferrari F1 team and Fatal Defiance, who I had the car... I meant to be looking for words, I believe. I had the joy of being able to watch in the Tier 1 race last Sunday. So let's watch Fatal Defiance on his lap, since he is ahead of the Ferrari F1 team and is clearly attacking, hence the overtake ERS mode. Missed the apex a bit there. Careful on the throttle on the exit, and he's got a very clean exit. Maybe the actual corner and speed would have been a little bit better. He's going that wide. No, it was very neat through there. And missed the apex again there, trying a little bit too deep. The setup's not looking very stable. It's looking like he's got no front end to really turn in. Here we go, brake heavily. Yeah, again, it just doesn't look like there's enough front end on the setup for Fatal Defiance. And yeah, it doesn't look like Ferrari F1 team is pushing that hard at all on him, because he's on a lower ERS mode. So this is going to be one of the first proper representable laps as what's okay. And there's a Ferrari off the track. I'm assuming that's Kinney letting Fatal Defiance pass on the outside turn. And now up into 8th gear on the braking. It's quite he's trying to make an 8th gear because he's gone in no ERS mode. So I'm assuming no, he's back on the flyer. So Fatal Defiance is going for another run. Obviously he knew that lap wasn't perfect. Ran deep a couple of times, and that was definitely not an ideal lap. He could try to improve on it now. Very, very heavy. Slight misses the apex, but will not lose you much time at all. There's many different lines you can take down at turn 1 and turn 2 at this Bahrain track. Brake heavily, running out of ERS. Then of course, this is part of the track where you do gain most of ERS, because there's a couple of braking zones before the really long straight, the really long back straight, and the straight, of course, to complete your lap to start finish straight. Again on the throttle, nice and easy out the exit, and now heavy braking, very hard braking zone. Yep, that's the thing. It's so easy to do at this Bahrain International Circuit. It is. I don't think I've ever seen anyone not do it. And if you've gone a whole race or session without doing it, well done to you. Give yourself a pat on the back. So we have 20 minutes left in this session now. I said it was going to be a long one. Leading move I did say I've talked to, but it's actually I've gone back out on some super stuff. I forgot about that. Bowsaurus is in the pits. So there's a lot more drivers, as you can see here. So actually, Scartrix set his best lap on 11 lap old mediums, and it is currently quicker than JJ Rock and Morgs on the supers. That's damning. I don't even know if Scartrix is in this session. He's just kind of set a bank at just got the complete balls out, done a lap, and then just gone, yep, that'll do. So we have currently Kaiser Bob out on the track. Of course, that lovely little interview in the chat for us, which again I'd like to thank him for. He's coming. Oh, he's got the annoying. Oh, okay. The glitch is fixed. I'm just gonna go. Just glossing over this broken game. Right, coming into the final corner early on the throttle on the exit. Try to carry as much apex speed as you can. DRS early, clipped it perfectly. High ERS mode, and you want to be flying down into turn 1 here. Braking really heavily around the 100-meter brake board mark. And down to second gear, being careful on the throttle. You want to ease it in on the exit, really careful, because those curves can put you off balance and cause you to have a bit of oversteer, a bit of understeer, lose the rear end, and be in a wall. Obviously, in the actual F1 2 weeks ago, it was a bit of an issue as well, that section of the track, for the Formula 1 drivers navigating the wind and the bumps and the tricky conditions, and Kaiser Bob's run a little bit wide there. Obviously, he was a little bit put off by my reference to real Formula 1, got a bit excited, and just went a bit off. Yeah. Beautiful clip there, actually. This isn't an awful lap from Kaiser Bob. He's missed a couple of apexes, maybe not as quick as he possibly could. He's been very consistent. Now, easy on exit. Is he going to be careful enough in this right-hander? Don't touch the curb because it'll put you off balance. And again, as I said before, you end up straight in that wall, and that is not the ideal situation at all. So, now he's coming round the final corner any second now. Yeah, there you go. Early on exit. Actually, quite a good line through there. This won't be an awful lap, I don't think. And Kaiser Bob improves to go P4 on a 1:27.9. That is only... Well, it's less than half a tenth off the Morgs, so obviously that represents that Morgs was sandbagging a little bit. But of course, Morgs did do that 1:27.7 that was invalidated earlier on in the session. Shall we try to talk to Kimmy if he's still in this session? I'm gonna have to check here. Stress. Oh. Apologies. Alright. Assistant session. Yeah, he's still in session, so if we give him a quick invite and see if he fancies a short little chat. Of course, he's a championship leader for Tier 2 at the moment. Let's see if he actually does want to talk. Obviously, he's been interviewed before, but I have not had the joy of talking to him. And is he coming out just on track now? He is, isn't he? He's typical fit. Oh no, he's here. Okay, hello, and of course, remember to include your audio. Just quickly connecting. So let's give it a minute. Right, can you hear me? Oh, sorry, I've got my microphone turned down again. So obviously, also just quickly check all the times. So yeah, P5 at the moment with your best lap set on the tyre? On the soft tyres. First question: how hard are you pushing at the moment?
On.
How hard, obviously, in this session, do you reckon you and other drivers are actually pushing?
Like, JJ at least, definitely. Same with Morgs.
Yeah.
I don't really know, because times are pretty equal between us. So...
Yeah, no, he set some good laps as well. Scar's properly set the pace here. Set his best lap on mediums on the 11th lap. Obviously, that's very much. I've just realised that's very much a glitch time. I've just noticed that. I've been commentating on that for the last 60 minutes. That's brilliant.
Time.
Yeah, I've just realised that. That's fantastic. So, are you experimenting with setups at this point, or are you just like what's the aim of this session?
Yeah, setups, like get a good race setup. Yeah, need to balance the setup a little bit still to find the speed and quality on a quality run or on the long run. So yeah, it's a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Sorry.
Yeah,
no, it's interesting to see because a lot of people are going for. You can tell a lot of people are experimenting with very different setups because one minute you'll see someone going out sliding a lot on their tyres, getting a lot of unsteer. Next time they go out, they've also got a lot of front end grip and obviously go like half a second quicker. So, as a driver, how useful do you say sessions like this are?
I mean, I'm not telling how I go in these sessions every time, but like in the beginning, I just go chill. Not even like maybe like the last 10 minutes, I maybe do a quali run or something.
Yeah.
But that's it really.
Ooh, Lee Pratt's just gone P3, so that's a very good lap from him on the super soft run. Obviously, you get a mix of drivers who tend to push very hard at this point in the session, do a flat-out quali run, and the people who are maybe just leaving that little bit less in the corner, just braking that little bit earlier, taking the apex a little bit softer, a bit later on the throttle, just to do that kind of sandbagging pace. So obviously, actually, I'm just going to really quickly. Won't hold you much longer because I know you're getting very much to the end of the session. But obviously that was a very good race for you last time out. Racing Morgs as well, who's been on earlier and said that you were very quick. So yeah, what did you think of last weekend overall?
Good.
Yeah.
It's only one person to
yeah, you couldn't
describe.
ask for much more. Yeah,
All
look, wasn't
fastest
much more.
lap, win.
Nearly at the Grand Slam then. So yeah, there's not much of a better position you could be entering the next race in. So obviously that's really encouraging. So take off a little bit of pressure knowing that you're on a quicker, so does it add a little bit more knowing that you should be performing at the higher level?
No. I expect this, so.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, okay. Yeah, obviously you're going to be wanting to go back out and maybe do a couple of quali runs, so I won't hold you much longer. Yep, thank you for this short interview, and good luck for the rest of the session, and good luck for your next race.
Thank you.
Right, okay, there we go again. I do like doing these little interviews, they're a good thing, because obviously these are people I don't ever talk to, so it's interesting to get an idea of how their races went, and a different variety of drivers. But yeah, Lee Pratt, as I said before, he did a pretty good lap. He's gone ahead of Morgs, near enough matched Morgs' invalidated lap. He's gone out on another set of he's on Inters. I'm not sure how accurate that is, or whether that's just this game. But he's gone out on a set of Inters. Oh god. So, when we were saying before how serious drivers take this session, he's currently pulling a Pierre Gasly and going the Pierre Gasly out on full wets in light rain. I think Morgs may be about an hour too late with those intermediate tyres, because we had a bit of rain at the start, so unless he knows something we don't with this clear blue day in the middle of the desert, I think I'm going to go watch another car. We have Kaiser Bob out on one of his hot laps now on the super soft tyre. I'll try to keep an eye out on Kimi as well while he's doing his run, which would be interesting. I think he's actually gone out on some older. Yeah, he's gone out on some older used super soft tyres. Maybe he'll be able to improve on lower fuel. And Kaiser Bob starts his lap now, and he's going to be flying down into turn 1, braking near the 100-metre braking marker, down into second gear, early on the throttle, careful, and then across Keffy's curves again. Just flying around at the moment. So, now through on the S's. Maybe could take a little bit more care, but don't unsettle the car just like what's happened, and then he nearly went round. Obviously that may have been a bit more stable on his onboard, because the online's not very responsive. Anyway, there's a Ferrari in front of him, so he's maybe getting a little bit dirty. I didn't quite clip the apex, a little bit wide on the exit, but early on the DRS and flying down into the final sector of this track. Now we're going to take a lot of the entrance curve. Early on the throttle, up into 6th, up into 7th, and he's going to hold it really smooth, and coming into the penultimate corner now, down into 4th, early on the throttle on the exit, doesn't run wide, got a lovely toe all the way down the straight now from this Ferrari. Where is this lap going to put Bob, because it's quite a good lap. And then, yeah, early on the throttle on the exit, slow and fast out. He was on the throttle before the apex. Is he going to choose to take the slipstream? Yes, he is. He's following it. And it puts him up into P2 with a 1:27.6, which does effectively put him in P1. And I cannot believe that I was commentating as in Scar Tricks, did that lap on 11-lap-old medium tyres 4 seconds quicker than everyone else. I didn't quite check that lap time before, and that, I believe, made me look a little bit stupid. But we're going to just gloss over that. Carlos Bob's gone P2 by just about 200ths of a second ahead of JJ Rock. So these two, for next Sunday, looking fairly close at the moment. Lee Pratt's still out in his effective P3 position. Morgs, for some reason, hasn't improved on his intermediate run. I'm still not quite sure what he's doing. And Kimi is on his lap. We're going to follow him around. He's finished his lap. This is not going well today. It's been a long 1 hour 20 since I started this. Just give me a break. We have Kaiser Bob's down on track. Is anyone actually on a hot lap? Just check all the ERS modes. The effective advance is going fairly quickly, but he has Morgs in front of him on his into tyres. A little bit wide at the exit, but still fairly smooth, kept it all under control, taking a bit of the entrance curbing. Nice on the apex actually, not too bad for the defiance there. Now he's got a really long run. Down his back straight of DRS, braking heavily, down into 4th gear. So get across really smooth on the steering and lose that rear end, go straight into the wall, a little bit of the exit curb, potentially running him out a bit wider than he would have wanted, and now ERS is going to get some D-rates on the straight, not what you want. Now breaking down 4th gear, early on the throttle on the exit, doesn't take much of the exit curve, he is not going there because that will normally drag your car out wide and the fact it doesn't improve. But obviously the ERS situation did not help much of that. He's actually run out of ERS. I have not seen that before. And we have a yellow on track somewhere. Oh, it's been resolved now. Yeah, Morg's still yet to improve on his intermediate run. Enough said. Who is on a lap at the moment? We're just going to quickly check around who's on high ERS mode. I think Lee Pratt's finishing a higher run laps. Let's check Lee Pratt's times because he was very consistent in the last race. Yeah, he's had a couple of corner cuttings this one. He's no longer Mr. Consistent. I've seen him get some warnings now. Yeah, it was a 1:34.8 that last lap, so yeah, it was a ridiculously quick lap. So is he actually pushing now? Yeah, I think he's actually pushing now. Yeah, he is. So that was a cool down lap for Lee Pratt, and he's now up in 7th gear. Down to 4th on the S's, be as quick as you can. Don't take too much of the curve because you are going right around. Now down to 2nd gear, early on the throttle, but not so early you end up, yeah, you end up dragging yourself out wide. Now careful not to lock up or run off the track. Lovely. That was very neat from Lee Pratt, so that's actually pretty good. This couldn't be too bad lap. He's on the old Super Soak. It's not looking like he doesn't have grip, and as I said before, by the looks of it, he has a very much Jenson Button-esque driving style, where he's incredibly smooth, and it appears to be very nice on the tyres. He's not chucking his car anyway, he's not damaging his set, and of course it's enabling him to do relatively quick laps on these older tyres now. So is he going to run out of VRS by the end of this straight? No, but he's going to cross the line and doesn't improve. Let's check that lap time because it can't have been that slow. Yeah, 1:28.3, so that's only 6/10 off what he did on his first laps on those supers. So on average he's lost 1/10 a lap on the super soft tyres at Bahrain, a track famous for fairly high tyre deg, and Morgs is still on the intermediate tyres. I'm going to give credit to him. He's driving fairly smoothly for an intermediate set that's probably getting quite hot now. But who is still... here we go, we have Badgersaurus. He is on an outlap at the moment on new set of super softs. He's clearly on low fuel, as you can tell by the red light at the bottom indicating he should probably pit soon. So it's going to be interesting. He's just going to be warming up those tyres, weaving on the straight, like little extra friction. Just heats up those tyres a little bit more. Just like a little bit more grip, a little bit less tyre slip on the exit. And of course you're just a little bit more stable through corners. But of course you don't want the tyres to overheat. They could overheat here pre-update, but of course with the new update there's no chance of that happening. So Badgesaurus coming into the penultimate corner. Now, does this count as 1 or 2 corners? That's what I want to know. Is that 1 corner, a straight, and then another corner? I was going to say yes. So, the final 2 corners. And now, is he going to up the ERS and then go for it on this lap? You can see. Yep, he seems to be upping all his engine modes, maybe. Yep, he is. And he's going to be going for a lap. So, here's a lap off board with Badgesaurus. We're just going to go completely off board and watch this lap. Actually, I should probably have that turned on. There we go, so we can see what gear he's in his throttle inputs. So brake it heavily down into the first corner around the 100 meter braking zone. Up into 4th on the exit, 5th. Careful of the exit curve because we've seen people like Verstappen and Vettel spinning there. And Verstappen, of course, having his crash last season. Of course, that was very unfortunate. And that was pretty neat on the exit. Not track extending at all, using most of the track. We've got a lovely helicopter cam here. This makes every lap look brilliant. Oh, and he's run wide. Oh, that was very, very close to losing it. That was not something he'd like to be seeing this Sunday when the race comes around. There's Morgs getting out of the way on his intermediate tyres on this beaming hot day in Bahrain. I'm lost for words. Not using DRS, obviously this isn't a very hard push lap. I'm going to go back to the leaderboard now so we can see what time he does eventually set. Does Badgesaurus. Where is he currently in the tier 2 standings? Let's go on board for the end of the lap. Of course, not a bad exit, fairly neat. And Badgesaurus, he finished, yeah, he's backed out now. He's backed out of that lap. Obviously letting Morgs on his intermediate tyres back past. Yeah, so Badgesaurus went... Did he actually get points last time out? Yeah, he got no points last time out, so I don't know whether that meant he DNF'd or he didn't turn up. But yeah, he's going for another run now. We're going to stick on board. Now, there's a Williams coming out of the pits there, actually. Braking heavily into... No, it was not a Williams. What car was that I just left the pits? Anyway, we're just going to stick with Badgesaurus at the moment. He's going to be braking down into about 4th gear here. Or 3rd, yeah, that would do. Maybe a bit stupid. On the exit, really nice and neat again. He's taking the same line he took last time. And maybe he's got a little bit less grip this time. Yeah, less neat on the curves, not fighting the curves as closely as he did, which is actually what caused him to lose the rear end. Caused that rear end step out a little bit last time round. So, now, really hard corners with dirty air of TGH Will in front of him. Really neat. That was really neat from Badgesaurus. And he's now got DRS and the toe all the way down this medium length straight, and now into potentially 4th from last corner, and now we have the 3rd from last corner, and then the penultimate. I think that was, anyway, it was very neat. From this is hopefully going to be quite a good lap for him because it's been fairly consistent all session, fairly neat. Let's see where this lap does in fact put him. Morgs is still circulating on the intermediate tyres. The DRS is open, ran out of DRS, and right at the end he goes into P6. That is his last lap of the session. Here, his last flying lap. Badgesaurus goes P6 with a 1:28.089. We have Kimi crossing the line right now, and he does a 1:27.521. Who else do we have on track? There's Morgs spinning on his intermediate tyres. They're probably getting quite hot now, you'd imagine. Yep, so the only person who's going to be going... Morgs is no wall. The only person who's going to be going quick at the moment is Kaiser Bob. He's probably going to run out of DRS before he is able to finish this lap, though. So it could hinder the lap a little bit. But either way, he is currently the person who's going to be ending the session in theoretical P1. But Scartrix is a very quick driver, so we cannot take his glitch lap is a sign that he is going to be right down there, because I'm expecting him to be doing good things next Sunday. And is this the yellow flags from Morgs' car still? Yes, it is. It's just doing donuts now. The tyres weren't hot before, which they were. They are now. And now, of course, he's finishing for that. Yeah, Kai's Bob just ending it off. He's the last person to finish his lap, apart from Morgs, who I don't think is ever going to finish. Taking the shortest entrance line, and he does a 27.408 on his super soft tyres, and that rounds off his session. So let's see if Morgs is still doing donuts. No, he's not. He's following Badgesaurus line. We can get a lovely little race. No, as you can imagine, Morgs' tyres are quite warm, and he nearly loses it. Oh, and there's a force injury coming past right there. Yeah, he's just going to finish. Oh, and he's actually going to end the session in the pit lane. Or not. Yeah, so there we go. There's the session. Scartrix is one of the major names now, who had the glitch lap time. So that's unfortunate for him, and he left fairly early on as well. He spent most of the end part of that in the pit lane. And yeah, it was a fairly interesting session, actually. Of course, I don't believe there were many drivers actually going as fast as they could there. Of course, JJ Rock has his 5-place grid penalty, a massive disappointment for himself in the non-existent race. Yeah, so overall, not a shabby session at all. It was, of course, Benjamin's Prime got disqualified. That was a really weird disqualification. He just kind of left the pit lane and stopped. I'm just going to give a quick rundown. So you have Kaiser Bob in P1, Kimmy 7MF16, and then you have JJ Rock, Lee Pratt, Morgs, Badgersaurus, Looney Moo, Fatal Defiance, Ferrari F1 Team, TGH Will, King Burn, Lost Nuts Racing 2, and Benjamin's Prime, and that rounds off the session. I'd like to thank all of you very much for watching. I'm not doing podium interviews for the obvious reason of there was no race, and I've already talked to most of these drivers. No, I've talked to all of these drivers. Okay, thank you all very much for watching this F1 IRL practice session for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Tune in on Sunday on this Twitch account, and you'll be able to watch the Tier 1s and the Tier 2 races. It might be a separate Twitch account for Tier 2. I haven't been updated with the stage that was. I'd like to thank you all a lot for watching, and actually, is it really good to do this? If you guys will stay, do a qualifying sim quality, that's about it. So yeah, I think I'm going to let all these guys do qualifying sims in peace, because I certainly need a drink, because my throat is, I believe the term's dead. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll hopefully be commentating this weekend on one of the races, and I hope to see you all there. So, as I said before, thank you all for watching.